12:30 and I need to give the flat a little bit of a tidy. I've got some clothes on the floor that kind of accumulated throughout the week that I need to tidy up. But yeah, that is what we're going to do. We're going to give the flat a little bit of a tidy, a little bit of a clean, and sort out the chaos for the week. To sit down and have a little relaxing half an hour or so of reading, but before I get to that I thought I'd give you a little book chat. So I thought I'd talk you through the book that I read in January. I actually only did read one book in January. I find January is just quite a slow month for me for reading. My aim this year is to read 20 books, which I think is doable. Last year I read 15. I kind of had some slow books, so hopefully this year my plan is to read 20 books, which I think is doable. I think I can do. So the book I read in January was The Hobbit. I read the Lord of the Rings trilogy for the first time end of 2022, beginning of 2023, and I really loved it. I am such a fan of the films. So yeah, reading it was just like really fun. I really enjoyed it. If you've not read them, I'd really recommend reading the Lord of the Rings trilogy. They're definitely worth reading. And it actually did highlight to me how well the films are done. I feel like the films include a lot of what is in the books. Normally I like to read a book before I watch the adaptation. However, I kind of feel like it did help a little bit being familiar with the world, just because I'm not much of a fantasy reader. I am trying to get into a little bit more fantasy, but I find like sometimes like it's difficult for me to like world build in my head. So like having that visuals already from the films, I do think kind of helped me get through the trilogy, but I did really enjoy them. So I'd recommend reading them if you haven't, but yes, I really enjoyed them. So I want to read The Hobbit. This is like a really cool cover. It's like an early illustration by Tolkien, and I picked it up in a little charity shop for £2, and I loved this. I find this was a lot more fast-paced than Lord of the Rings. It's quite a bit shorter than all of the Lord of the Rings books, so I feel like it was a lot easier to read, and I really enjoyed it. It was like quite a fast pace. There was like a lot going on. I will say, having read this, like I enjoyed the Hobbit films. I didn't like them as much as the Lord of the Rings films, maybe just because they just weren't as good. Having now read this, the films are kind of like, I'm a little bit disappointed because I feel like there's a lot in the film that's not in the book, and there's a lot in the book that's not in the films from my recollection. I mean, I haven't watched them in a while. So if you've watched the films, I would definitely recommend reading the book, because I feel like the book is definitely better. I feel like the books of the Lord of the Rings, like they are probably better than the films, but I enjoyed both. Whereas The Hobbit, I definitely much preferred the book to the films. I feel like the films kind of do the book not great justice. I just kind of feel like stretching it out for 3 films was kind of unnecessary. But yeah, I really enjoyed reading the book. I mean, it's been ages since I've watched the Hobbit films. They're not something I've revisited a lot. Lord of the Rings I revisit every year or so. I revisit and watch all 3 of them. I'm kind of in the mood now to watch the Lord of the Rings films. But yeah, I really enjoyed the Hobbit books. I definitely recommend giving it a go if you've not. I probably should have read this before Lord of the Rings, but I didn't. But I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it. I would definitely like reread all of the Hobbit and the Lord of the Rings books again at some point in my life. And Tolkien is just phenomenal. His brain, like I I don't understand. Like, the amount of detail that he's created in this world is insane. Like, I don't understand, I can't comprehend. But the book I'm currently reading is Slow Fire Burning by Paula Hawkins. I just did kind of want a nice thriller, just because I found them quite fast paced. I'm only about 100 pages in. I started it in the bath on Wednesday, and I'm really enjoying it so far. It's just a nice, quick, easy thriller. I'm already like hooked. It's got quite short chapters, which keeps me going. Yeah, I'm really enjoying it. I feel like I'll probably get through this quite quickly because it is just a nice fast-paced thriller. But yes, I'm enjoying it so far. I will update you at some point if I still enjoy it by the time I finish, but so far so good. A nice easy read. I think she also wrote The Girl on the Train. I don't think I've ever read The Girl on the Train, but I'm really enjoying her writing. It's just nice, easy, interesting thriller murder mystery. Yeah, I think I'm gonna sit and read some of my book and just relax for a little bit. It's been a couple of hours since I vlogged anything. I've basically decided that this year I want to try like cooking a new recipe like once a month, I think. We cook most of our meals anyway at home, but we cook quite easy meals. So I want to challenge myself to cook one new meal a month, just give something a go. So earlier this week I decided I wanted to make lasagna, which I am making, and I had all intentions of me doing like a nice little cooking segment. And truth be told, I've been at this now for about 2.5 hours, and I grossly underestimated A, how long it would take me, and B, the amount of effort that goes into making lasagna, because I've made like the meat and I've made the sauce from scratch. I've never made a homemade sauce, really. I've made like a homemade peanut sauce, but I've never really made a proper sauce from scratch. So I'm quite proud of myself. I mean, at the same time, it's still in the oven. We've not actually eaten it yet, which just means we're going to be eating dinner like 9 o'clock, which is not ideal. So note to future Emma, if I make this again, start earlier. But yes, that is what I've been doing. I've been cooking dinner, but it's just been quite stressful, and I've been like multitasking and trying to do a million things at once. So I just didn't vlog it, because honestly I've tidied up now. I've got all my dishes over there to do, but the kitchen was a mess and it was just quite stressful and I need to concentrate. But I'll show you when it's out of the oven. I will link the recipe below that I've used. It's a Mary Bear recipe, and it says like half an hour prep time, an hour and a half cooking time or something, which maybe if you're a pro at making lasagna it only takes that long. It's taken me a lot longer than that. Like right towards the end of the recipe it says you let it sit for 6 hours, which I don't have time to do. So fingers crossed it's okay. I think it's to let the pasta sheets soften, but hopefully it'll be okay. It's my first time making lasagna, so there's probably going to be room for improvement. But I will link the recipe down below and I will show you the finished product, because it looks pretty good, I think. I thought I'd just kind of update you because I had like grand plans of doing a nice little cooking segment in this video, and they kind of went to pot. Because like always I grossly underestimated how difficult something was. I always do this. I always think something will be easy and won't take me very long, and then I go to do it and it's like 3 times as hard as I expected it to be and takes me about 3 times as long. But hopefully it's worth it all. My normal Sunday routine is not to eat dinner at 9 o'clock at night, but that's just how it's worked out today, I'm afraid.